these multiple identities and having different places from which to draw on who I am, like racially, ethnically, but culturally as well. And those three things are related, but they are also different in some way, shape, or form. What is interesting about what I am is that I think I present as Asian American because I grew up here, that identify as Filipino Chinese, so there's no American. I've lived in this country for a long time, actually my entire adult life and over half of my life now since I came to the United States for college. Saying that I'm Asian American, I think I consider myself more as Asian in America more than anything else. And again, that's basically because of where home is for me. And as I said, I'm Filipino Chinese, so the Filipino is reflective of where I grew up and culturally shapes a lot of my worldview and how I think. At the same time, I'm ethnically Chinese and I grew up in an ethnically Chinese home. Probably the really interesting thing about being Asian is that there's just so much variation in who we are, living in the United States, outside of the United States. And I mean, I think the stories are so interesting, but people have to be interested in asking about them, right? And I think oftentimes where I'm from, which I know sometimes can be a sort of triggering question if you've grown up in the United States, but for me, it's actually a really generative question because it allows me to share, who's sort of behind the voice and the appearance. Sometimes we get reduced to sort of stereotypical image. So even though I grew up in the Philippines, I grew up watching a lot of American TV, and when you do see Asian characters, they're often really one-dimensional. And I'm really proud to say that's not who we are. So many different ethnicities coming from so many different countries, sort of up and down the socioeconomic ladder. We all have something unique and interesting to share. My name is Cheryl Ching. I'm an assistant professor of higher education in the College of Education and Human Development at UMass Boston. I identify as Filipino Chinese, and this is my voice.